Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ada coming in with a quick word. Um, Guys, sometimes the enemy is within. Uh, the Lord had me to leave my job a few months ago. He led me to leave it, and what I did, I resigned. And I was wondering, I had felt like so much was coming up against me, and I'm like, okay, um, I think it's time for me to go. And truly, it was good timing. But as I began to meditate on leaving, because it was a hard thing, but the Lord assured me it was time. But He also let me know the enemy is within. Sometimes, guys, the enemy is within your own camp. Which reminds me of the story in the Old Testament about Achan. Before Joshua were getting the victory, he and the men were getting the victory, and all of a sudden they was defeated at Ai. Excuse me. And Joshua consulted with the Lord, and the Lord instructed Joshua what they needed to do. So what had happened, they were not supposed to take any of the spoil. When they went to war, they were not supposed to take any spoil. And Achan had taken some things and hid it in his tent. And so once these things were once they called everybody together and all these things were uncovered, they discovered why they were being defeated. Sometimes the defeat is coming from within, not from without, because the enemies do not know your strategy. Only people within, or the enemy within those people, knows your strategy. So a lot of times we feel like we're being defeated in certain areas of our life, and we're looking to outside sources. But as my mother used to say, sometimes your enemy is in your own camp. Or she used to say, sometimes your enemy is sleeping beside you. And you know, guys, that can be true. And now we know the enemy of our soul is Satan, but Satan do use people. So sometimes we have to evaluate our lives to see, are the people around you really for you? Are the enemy using these people to keep you stagnant? Because sometimes you could be going up, you can be excelling, but who you're connected to will keep you stagnant. So the today's word, check within. Because a lot of times it's not what's on the outside that's keeping you from walking in the will of God and prospering. Sometimes the enemy is within. But whatever we agree with, God agree with. Is that His perfect will for your life? No. But until our eyes are open to that truth, then we're defeated. But once our eyes are open, He will give us a strategy of how to address that issue. And we know that the problem is never people, it's the enemy that uses people. So we have to address that issue from a spiritual standpoint. And the weapons of our war are not carnal, but mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds. Because so once God began to open our eyes to what's true, and some of the strategy of the enemy could have been going on for years. The enemy can use a sister, a mother, a husband. He can use anybody. But because we are blind, we keep being defeated, just like Joshua was defeated, but they were looking without. And so once Joshua consulted with the Lord, and the Lord opened to his eyes that the enemy was in the camp. And so we know the story of what happened to Achan. His whole family was destroyed because he was doing things that were forbidden by God. So guys, we need to wake up and see where the real enemy lies at, because a lot of times it's not outside. A lot of times the enemy is in our own camp. So with that being said, guys, I don't know who this word is for. It may be for one, it may be for many. Check on the inside. Consult with the Lord. Seek the Lord to see where the defeat is coming from. So with that being said, guys, you all have a wonderful weekend.